Scott Holliday here, and welcome back to Plus 2 Wrestling. I was recently a guest on Stay Doomed. Yeah, it's a podcast that was covering all the Razzie movies, and they invited me on to talk about the kayfabe of no-selling Winnie the Pooh's big paw. You can check that out at the little clicky thing up there. Does that count as a plug? Let's get that ball rolling, I guess, and let's plug in. March 23rd, join us for some Cosplay Pro Wrestling at 827 Jersey Avenue in Gloucester City, New Jersey. The doors open at 12:30, the bell rings at 1:30, and it is a fundraiser for Extra Life. So please come out. It's just a $10 donation and enjoy some Cosplay Pro Wrestling, where you will see the wickedly handsome Giovanni, the leader of Team Rocket, issue an open challenge. It's always a good time with Cosplay Pro Wrestling, so we hope to see you March 23rd. Let's jump into WrestleMania week. WrestleMania week, there are tons of shows, but these are the ones that I will personally be at, so be sure to check out WrestleJohn, presented by Labor of Love and Sean Henderson at the Attic Brewing Company at 137 Berkeley Street in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. There you will see the team of Fresh Air and Jaden Newman take on the Chad, Sean Henderson himself, and the different boy, Jimmy Lloyd. We will also crown a brand new champion. The citywide championship is on the line as Weber Hatfield takes on the world famous Cheeseburger. And in trios action, it is the Cyberhawks versus the Colony. We haven't seen the Colony together as a trio in quite some time. It's going to be a very special occasion. So please join us Wednesday, April 3rd. The doors open at 5 p.m. The bell rings at 5:30. You can get your tickets in the links below. And if you want to get caught up on how we got here to this point at WrestleJohn, head on over to the High Tension Wrestling YouTube channel, and there you can see the citywide special. Currently, the first 4 episodes are up, so get caught up and then join us at WrestleJohn. The very next day, join us for Labor of Love and Sean Henderson presents Euphoria. That is still at the Attic Brewing Company. That's 137 Berkeley Street in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. However, this time, the doors open at 1 p.m. and bell time is at 1:30. There you will see the team of Jimmy Lloyd, Sky, and the Chad taking on the Ugly Ducklings. This is going to be a super fun tag team match, so be sure to join us for some fantastic action at Euphoria. Then later that day, Thursday, April 4th, I'll be jumping over the bridge and heading over to Gloucester City, New Jersey. That's 827 Jersey Ave, the same place as Cosplay Pro Wrestling, for some CFU No Escape. Every match takes place inside a steel cage. There you will see Journey Burke, Esquire, taking on Megan Manson, plus the HTW Network champion Mike Skyros takes on Riddick in a rare male CFU match. And our main event, Kennedy Copeland challenges Jordan Blade for the CFU Championship. Be sure to join us for Combat Fights Unlimited on April 4th. Friday, April 5th, it is Suplex Mania presents Friday Night Laugh Down, an evening of stand-up comedy. And yeah, Scott Holliday's going to be doing some stand-up comedy, so be sure to head on down to Suplex, located at 628 South Street in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. The show runs from 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. Plus, it's a really cool wrestling store, so be sure to check that out. And I'll see you at Suplex Mania presents Friday Night Laugh Down. That's a mouthful. Let's end out this week, April 7th, that's Sunday of WrestleMania week at 2:30 at the Mitchell Fire Hall at 300 East Federal Street in Burlington, New Jersey. It is SPO Wrestling's end game. There we will have 2 rings, one outside, one inside, and outside we will have the Ultimate Tag Team Showcase. It is the Scramble Cell. Many teams are going to be entering this, including Live Danger, the Silk City Kings, the Rep, and the SPO Tag Team Champions, the Backseat Boys, along with, who knows, how many other teams inside of a steel cage with platforms along the top. It's going to be absolutely insane. And if that's not enough for you, how about Joe Clean versus Pat Dynamite in an exploding dumpster match? I don't know what that is, but it's going to happen at SPO. All this plus Sonny Kiss, Rick Blade, Bobby Fish of NXT and AEW fame. Homicide defends the SPO Championship against 2 Cold Scorpio. This is going to be an event you don't want to miss, so please join us at the Michelin Fire Hall on Sunday, April 7th. Get your tickets at the links below. And if you want to catch up on the story so far, head on over to the SPO YouTube channel and check out the Boss Battles if you want to get caught up on everything that's happened at SPO so far. Today on the Soapbox, I want to look back at a video that I made almost a year ago, and that video was called Questioning Cody's Loss. At WrestleMania 39, against all betting odds, Cody Rhodes came short when it came to claiming that Universal Championship and dethroning Roman Reigns. He was unable to finish the story, and this really bothered me. It bothered me so much I took 2 weeks off of the channel, and then I came back and said, I have some questions that I need to figure out because I don't understand why this has happened the way it has. And now here we sit, a year later, and I think we have the answer to all of those questions. So here's a follow-up video. Here's answering Cody's loss. Is this gonna ruin Money in the Bank again? So clearly we're not asking these questions in the same order as the other video. If you want to watch that other video, by the way, it's up there in the links and down there in the links and all that good stuff. But the first thing I want to ask is, did this ruin Money in the Bank? It ruined Money in the Bank last year with Roman as champion because Austin Theory couldn't really challenge anyone for that with that Money in the Bank contract, and he ended up using it to cash in on the US champion and losing and looking like an idiot. Now a year later, Austin Theory still constantly looks like an idiot. He's in that tag team with Grayson Waller, and they're pretty good comedy heels as a tag team. They're good mid-card tag heels, but Austin Theory looked like he was on his way up the ladder, and then everything kind of fell apart. And I was worried with Roman as champion, would that happen again? And now we have Senior Money in the Bank, Damian Priest. And he's in a bit of a weird situation. He's different than every other Money in the Bank holder that I can imagine. Because there's really been 2 types of people to hold the Money in the Bank briefcase. There's the do-right babyface that's like, I'm not going to cash this in. I'm going to let you know the exact moment I'm cashing in so you have time to prepare and we're going to have the match that I want to have. And then there's the sneaky heel that cashes in when you're not expecting it. And when you're that second type, you tend to try to cash in and fail a few times. I mean, think back to Dolph Ziggler. Dolph Ziggler tried to cash in every single week until finally cashing in at the Raw after WrestleMania. But Damian Priest is different. He is in that situation where he was unable to cash in a lot of the time. We now have a new title in the Heavyweight Championship held by Seth Rollins, but often there was a situation where 1, Roman wasn't around to be cashed in on, or 2, Seth has been injured as of late. So Damian Priest has not been able to cash in. And it's also not been his focus. There's been this issue that when you're Mr. Money in the Bank, That's really all that's important. There's a reason that when you're introduced, it's Mr. Money in the Bank and then your name, because the Money in the Bank is the most important thing. I don't know if that's true for Damian Priest. Damian Priest is dealing with the Judgment Day, which it seems like he's become the leader of the Judgment Day. He's kind of dethroned the former leader of Finn Balor. I mean, he definitely got rid of Edge, and it seems like now he's in charge. So he's dealing with the management side of this very large stable. He's making sure Rhea is okay as the women's champion, and he's dealing with R-Truth, who's trying to join the Judgment Day. And he's tag team champions with Finn Balor. Him and Finn have held those titles for quite some time, and it makes sense that he already has gold, and it's gold that he has to defend on a regular basis, so that is his main focus. So cashing in, it's something that he can do, but it's not the driving force of the character of Damian Priest right now. So when it comes to Cody's loss leading to another year-long Roman reign that makes the Money in the Bank briefcase feel useless, no, I think they found a pretty good way to use the Money in the Bank briefcase to elevate Damian Priest without making him look bad or like he's missing opportunities. I will say it will be strange if he doesn't use it at WrestleMania. Like, now that Seth has kind of set the precedent that you can do that, you have a chance to steal your way into the main event of WrestleMania. Why wouldn't you do that if you're Damian Priest? Maybe he's going to get too beat up in the ladder match that he has to have with all the other tag teams. That will make sense. But for the most part, I think they've done a good job crafting Money in the Bank this year. So Cody's loss really didn't ruin things like I thought it would. Is this a gambling thing? I think we can safely guess that this had nothing to do with gambling at this point. I made the argument that it was one of the most unexpected things that could possibly happen, is Cody failing to win that championship. And yet, here we are, Roman Reigns is champion for another year. I put out the idea that this was going to make the idea of a WWE gambling app where you could bet on the outcome of WWE matches look profitable, because the problem with betting on the WWE is a lot of people will argue that it is predictable because it's not real sports, it is storytelling. But the fact that the WWE was able to prove that they were able to surprise us would mean they could have a gambling app. And yet here we are a year later, and there's no gambling app. We still have the DraftKings sponsorship that they do, and I guess they are happy with that right now. The idea of WWE having their own app has seemed to have faded away, and that doesn't seem to be the mindset of the WWE anymore. I mean, they've already tried to have their own social media with Tout. They tried to have their own network with the WWE Network, and now they're on Peacock and going to Netflix. They tried to have their own version of pretty much everything, and it kind of just fell apart every time. So maybe they've smartened up and decided that that's not where their focus needs to be. How many times do I have to see this match? To answer that question very bluntly, 2. We saw 2 singles Roman Reigns matches after he beat Cody Rhodes. He fought LA Knight and he fought Jey Uso. And that's it. He had some tag team matches where he challenged Sami and Kevin for the tag titles and came up short. And then he also had the Civil War match where he took on the Usos. And then we had a fatal 4-way match at the Royal Rumble. So when it comes to that match, the match that we had to see where Roman Reigns fights someone, they battle, interference, Roman steals it, we only had that twice. Some may argue that that's too many, but they actually did a smart thing here. By continuing to have that story where the reason he's winning is because we keep seeing the same match over and over again, where Roman comes in overconfident, almost gets beat, there's interference, and then he steals it, means that it's put more weight on the tag team match that's night 1 of WrestleMania. Because the idea that it's bloodline rules if The Rock and Roman can beat Cody and Seth means if Rock and Roman can win, they're going to have that match that we've seen so many times. But if Seth and Cody can win, that match gets taken off the table. The fact that they've built the way that the matches have been going so consistently for years now has really put a nice spotlight on that tag team match. So I think the WWE did it right. Is this a Vince thing? Is this an Endeavor thing? Yes, a double answer, because it turns out that those questions are in fact aligned. Because when Vince McMahon came back, I said this. I don't think it is one of those things where he tore up the script and then was just like, we're changing things. There have now been reports that that is exactly what happened. Vince McMahon came in, ripped up the script to show that he was back in power, wanted to throw his weight around, and made it so Cody lost in the main event just to show that he was still in charge. And you can kind of see that in the storytelling as well. Like, doesn't it make more sense for Brock Lesnar to return and attack Cody on the first night after WrestleMania if he's the champion? Brock had already lost a match that made it that he could never challenge Roman. And now, the first day that Roman is not champion, Brock is here to reclaim his title. Doesn't it also make a lot more sense that Roman is upset about the idea that the Usos lost and kind of shifting the blame that he lost his title when he and Sikoa go after Sammy and Kevin Owens? And then doesn't it also make more sense that this leads to the Bloodline kind of breaking up and having the Civil War tag match? Then at SummerSlam, when it's Jey Uso versus Roman, doesn't it make more sense that it's just for the title of Tribal Chief? Because Roman has a reason not to be the Tribal Chief anymore. He lost the title. And he lost the tag team match. The only thing that Roman has left is the title of Tribal Chief. All these story beats make a lot more sense if Roman lost the title and Cody was champion during this time. But it looks like this was just Vince ripping up the script and changing things at the last second. If not Cody, then who? The answer to that question's easy. Nobody. Did you really think he was going to lose it to Jey Uso or LA Knight? Absolutely not. I might have been able to buy into him losing it in the Fatal 4-Way if it wasn't at the Royal Rumble. Once we got to the Royal Rumble, we knew Roman was going to make it to WrestleMania. And it just was very clear throughout the year that there was no one who could take that title from Roman Reigns. But surprisingly, it seems like there are more people other than Cody that could take the title from Roman now than there were a year ago. Like, they're building up Braun Breaker and his spear. He could possibly be a contender that could dethrone Roman. The Rock is going to be staying around. I want to see the Rock-Roman match at some point. Maybe it will be The Rock. I also think there's some nice storytelling going on that you could actually write a nice story on why it should be Seth. I think Seth Rollins has a great argument to be the one to dethrone Roman Reigns. I mean, obviously, Cody's the number one choice, and he's going to win at WrestleMania. Right? If not now, then when? So here we are, 1 year later. If not then when? And the answer seems to be now. You have Cody beat him at WrestleMania 40 in Philadelphia. Right? Because here's the thing. Right now, Roman Reigns is the 4th longest reigning champion. If he wanted to be number 3, he has to beat Hulk Hogan's record. Hulk Hogan was champion for 1,474 days. To beat that, he would have to make it to Monday Night Raw on September 16th. Probably like 2-3 weeks after SummerSlam. You could probably tell a whole story about SummerSlam. How this is like the last obstacle that Roman needs to get over to beat Hulk Hogan's record. That makes a lot of sense. And while it's very clear right now that the WWE pivoted, that it was going to be Rock versus Roman, and then we heard the crowd chant, "We want Cody," so they switched. But if it was going to be Rock versus Roman, was The Rock going to end the reign of Roman Reigns? And if not, how much did they deviate from the course? Are they deviating just enough to give us the match we want? Or are they also going to give us the result that we want? It's really unclear. Especially with what I said, there are now more believable challengers for Roman Reigns than there was in the past year. It sounds ridiculous to say, hey, it might be another 6 months, or heck, if he makes it through SummerSlam, it's probably going to continue the reign through to WrestleMania 41. And a year ago, that sounded ridiculous, yet here we are. And I'll say this, I think that's kind of the most brilliant thing about all of this. We all went into WrestleMania 39 basically knowing that Cody was going to win that championship. And had he, it would have been nice, and we would have been happy, but it would have been really predictable. Now we're heading into 40 with a very similar feeling, and we're all questioning it. We couldn't see a reality where Roman won at 39. But I think a lot of us are feeling like it could be very much happening at 40. And I know I said on my bingo card that I did not think Cody was going to get to finish the story this year. Honestly, I don't feel that way anymore. I think Cody is going to win at WrestleMania 40. But I'm not sure. And the fact that we've waited a year so we could do this match again and have me doubt it means that when it happens, it's gonna be that much more special. But I can't be positive that it is. So 1 year later, I think the decision to have Cody lose at WrestleMania was the right decision. I think looking back at the year, other than the fact that some of the storylines would have made a little bit more sense with Cody as champion, I think overall, it's helped the WWE become one of the hottest eras that it's experienced in quite some time. So in the end, I can't question their decision. It worked. And I'm looking forward to WrestleMania 40. But what do you think? Are you still upset that Cody didn't win at 39? Do you think he's not winning at 40? Do you think my hair looks a little weird because I didn't do it right today? I ran out of hair gel. Let me know all those things in the comments down below. And while you're down there, throw me a subscribe. It'll be greatly appreciated. And I hope you have a great day.